Well, hey, how's it going?
Hello. Not too shabby. I heard a noise. I didn't know what side it was
Well,
on.
yeah. Just time to go. Okay, so we're trying this experiment. Something that I've been thinking about for quite some time. Mostly, if we're being honest, an excuse for me just to get on and play some video games and call it work.
Sure, absolutely.
So yeah, but that's it. And I thought it would be fun to give this a shot. So special thanks to Kevin for being willing to jump on and work. You know.
Yeah, I canceled a lot of really important meetings to be
You.
here, but you got to do what you got to do. Yeah.
Thank you. So if you're watching, I've already seen some chat starting to populate. Go ahead and throw some questions. We'll definitely answer those as we go. But the game we are playing today, which I'm super excited about, is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Specifically, we're going to play some Warzone. What's your experience in this game?
I actually have quite a bit of experience. I would guess I did complete last season's Battle Pass, if that says anything. So I put some time in the evenings with some friends. A decent amount of time. So keep your expectations low, though. Just because the time is up high doesn't mean that the skill's anywhere that it should be.
Well, my wife famously got a fortune cookie one time that said, "Keep your expectations reasonable." And I don't know what your thought is on fortune cookies, but that is not a fortune. That's not telling you about something that's going to happen in your life. That's telling you that nothing is going to happen in your life, nothing effective.
Yeah, I found the fortune cookies less of a fortune now, and more of just facts.
Just facts. Very, very cool. Okay, so the idea here is that this is kind of like a little Q&A. What's the show with the hot peppers?
Ooh, Hot Ones.
Hot Ones. Okay, so this is kind of like Hot Ones with video games, except you need to carry me. So,
got it. No problem.
Save a lot of money for my revive. You need about 4,500, but we should be okay. In not a ton of hours though. With my sons especially, we've gotten three victories.
Warm up while you can. We deploy soon.
One thing I want to do real quick is the audio now.
Sorry, say that one more time.
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
There we go. That's going to be better.
Yeah, famously I cannot. When we play this with friends, there's no communication that happens in the opening lobby because you can't hear anything.
Yes, you're right. Wow, you finished. You finished last season's Battle Pass. That's impressive stuff.
I may have used some financial means to do that. At the end, I think I had 20 rounds to go, and may have bought some battle points to make it happen. But we still put a decent amount of time in.
Well, you definitely have to put a decent amount of time in. Okay, so where are we going to drop, first of all?
It's a great question. I always like to drop on a bounty, just so that you can immediately know at least where one person around the area is.
All right, so you call our drop spot. You ping it.
Okay,
we'll go there.
Let's hit this guy. Kind of a quieter area. Move into Superstore if we need to.
Okay, I like it.
Okay. Like Butta in the chat. Actually, there's a pro tip about muting the game with one button. I need to just do that. It's one of those things that I could just suck up and take the time to do.
Okay, I'm chasing you a little bit. Nobody following. Just here. Looking around. Unfortunately, everybody who's watching is going to have to watch from my POV. No producers on site today, so we're just the cool way. Yeah.
I'll just stand in front of you the whole time.
Well, and the nice thing about a bounty is that it immediately identifies somebody who may or may not be nearby, but also sets you up with if somebody else eliminates them, you're pretty good.
Well, yeah, there's nothing better than starting out the game with somebody else doing the work for you.
Exactly.
I turned my game audio way too low, actually. I'm going to bump that up a little bit more.
Okay, so as we're doing this, I'm going to ask you some like real director questions because I've got some thoughts that that you could maybe help with. I don't know that I've ever been in this building. During this weird COVID break, spring break, whatever we want to call it, you've been getting a bunch of people reaching out to you, like businesses and stuff like that, reaching out to you, trying to sell you their wares.
Yes, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of requests for us to work together or to create some form of competitions or tournaments that would be available to the general public to give them an opportunity to compete, and which is exciting that a lot of people are trying to reach out and come up with opportunities for people who are stuck at home right now looking for things to do. But yes, people reaching out every day with ideas and products and things and softwares to buy for this time that we're in.
Oh, you've been here. Oh, you're looting fast. Looting like a pro. I love going in through the windows. I don't know why. It has no practical value.
Oh, yeah. The windows and the doors in this game are the most fun thing to go through. I will certainly, I can loot at a pro level, but that's the extent of anything that I do at a pro level. Same with PUBG. I can loot like no other.
PUBG is not one I've played a lot of. Fortnite is probably my biggest royale as far as time spent. I'm a career number 2 finisher in. I think I've got more number 2 finishes in Fortnite than anyone else. I just can't build fight, but I can strategically. Well, I think we can say hide. I think hide, just strategic engagement strategies, right? I mean,
I like hide more than camp. That's a good way to phrase that. Sure.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah. Like Butter also in the chat, I saw this earlier. They said, do we think that Warzone will go competitive at all? That's a great question. I struggle to see what will happen with Battle Royales in a competitive scene. I think that there's so many aspects of them that are fantastic from a spectating standpoint, but from a competitive standpoint, there's a lot of randomization that can make it tricky. Does the best person actually win every time? I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
and then in addition to that, Call of Duty is not always the most smooth game in the world.
No. We've been seeing lots of issues lately with just weird lobbies.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Last night we played, me and 2 friends played, and in the 3 hours that we were sitting in front of the computer, we only played a handful of games that felt good.
We got folks over here somewhere.
We do. We want to try to get this bounty?
Yeah, let's see if we can do it.
One guy just flew in right here. My alt is not working though.
Yeah,
there we go.
I'm gonna have to reset mine in the break here. I moved over to the second computer here. Normally I've been playing on the one I stream on. Yeah, looks like they've lived here. No, maybe not. Maybe not all of it. I have crappy guns, but I have all the plates I could ever want. Yeah, they're really close, but they also probably know we're close here.
Well,
yep, they dipped in here.
Right
over here. I'm down. Come on.
Down one of them. Oh gosh. All right, we'll try the Gulag out.
Gulag Town.
In the same one, can I help you?
Yeah. Are we?
Ooh,
yeah, we are. Okay.
Oh my gosh. No pressure here.
Let's make you red.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Fight and you return to the front line. But if you lose, you're done.
All right, your left and right to my right and left.
It's time. Break some.
Left? Back left.
Got landed a couple.
Back left again. Also made back middle. Back middle his side. He's a slow player. Back right. Run into the mid right. Hit.
Well, come on! This mouse is bugging me. That's it. I'm gonna start blaming the mouse for.
Sure, of course.
But am I gonna change? No, because I need that strategy. Alright, finish him off here.
rock throwers in that.
Okay, so you're dropping back in. Let me, while you do that, while you earn the money to buy me back,
Sure.
I'm gonna fix a couple things.
No problem. Priority one is to get you back. I'll take my time though.
Well, good. I appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody's going to want to see you instead of my screen here.
Sure. That's what everybody in the chat. That's all they're just asking for, over and over and over.
Hey, let us see him.
I didn't pick the best place to drop though. Hey, what? One thing I'm going to do right now. Let's share this.
There's my ping. There we go. All right, so you're all good. Question for you.
Yes.
When people are kind of hitting you up and wanting you guys to organize things, is it that they want your people involved, or they want you to do the work of setting it up typically?
Ooh, it depends if they have a software. A lot of times it'll be where we would do the work to get the people there. They would provide the means to make it happen. What we did just actually this past week, we hosted a Smash Brothers tournament that was open to Mizzou. We said students and fans. We had about 51 students that participated in a Smash Brothers tournament that we hosted on Smash.gg. So we didn't really utilize any other outside entities to make that happen. But it was very successful, and we streamed it. So for us, it was a cool way to still have some student engagement and people watching the stream and hanging out.
There's a
I don't know if we're
dude.
going to get out of this one alive here, Doc.
You might be able to rush him there. He's just trying to get his load out.
I think if maybe one of those shots would have hit, maybe something could have happened.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything with all the folks.
Nobody's standing in here, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's an impressive number. We do not have a Warzone or Call of Duty scene for what it's worth. So
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's not the same esports folks. Well, it may have the same problem. I mean, so it's a great game. It's really fun to play, but it's not set up for good storytelling yet. You know, how do we storytell around it? I mean, how do you tell the story of the match? Oh, there you go. There's some weapons in a fat stack.
Yeah, here we go.
2 more fat stacks, and then you can get me back.
Easy. I can hear them. Actually, I can't. One more time. We're going to... Oh, overreacted on the audio.
It's always the case, right? How is that not a real door?
That looked like a real door? Looked like a real door to me.
Yeah, me too.
Here we go. Here's a fat stack in here.
No. I gotta warm up my hands. My hands are not good yet today.
Are we going to play until we win? I like that rule.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, Doc, I don't know. What time is it? 2:30?
Yeah, 2:30 your time.
Oh, yeah, we can make... I got all day, hours. Let's do it then.
Okay.
I'm going to do one of these bounties. Someone else will get them, and then I'm going to get you back.
I do technically have to coach, I believe, at 5 p.m. But it's a lot of Pete Carroll coaching. Come on, guys, you got this. You got this.
That's kind of...
Okay, do we know what we want to do? All right, good. Let's do that. Do we all understand what we want to do? Good. All right, we got this.
And what do I want to do? Oh.
Yeah.
not gonna be able to get the job done with that. It's just too big.
But the thermal sight, though, the thermal sight, we'll just remember where that is when you eventually collect some money and can come get me. The shotguns are not strong in this. I know that there's some people that swear by them. You're one plate down. Yeah, there you go. But
yeah, my issue with this game is the amount of hits it takes to get a down is remarkably high and requires too many consistent hits with the shotgun that I can't do. I'm gonna have to relocate completely.
What do we got in the area here?
We're gonna relocate, Doc. You're coming back over here.
Going to port. There's a supply.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to call it a quest a second ago. There's a stack.
I turned my audio down. I can't hear the boxes, but there are some here. There we go.
There you go.
Now you're coming back.
Woo!
Another one above me. $1,200.
Yeah, the interesting thing, I mean, you're on a 12-month contract, right? Not a 9-month. I'm on a faculty 9-month contract. You're more of a 12. They expect you to do stuff all year.
Right.
But our kids are not on a 12-month contract. So how do you draw the line between something that has value, to your institution, and something that kind of gives your kids a dang break for a change?
Yeah, I think what we're going to do, we actually just had a meeting this morning to talk about that and kind of shift gears from a competitive standpoint. Our finals start next week. We're still kind of getting an idea whether or not the Overwatch season will continue or not. But the thought is that we will shift gears from a competitive standpoint and focus more on a content creation standpoint over the summer. And we have enough staff and volunteers within the program, and then students that are just excited about what we're doing who would want to work over the summer. And we'll try to create some streams and podcasts and YouTube videos and tutorials and things that we can still do.
In that file.
I'm coming back. Priority one, though, Doc, is to get you back.
Good call.
I would still push tab to try to drag over. So yeah, we're going to shift gears a little bit and kind of focus on more of a content strategy over the summer, just to kind of get people who are not familiar with their program familiar with it.
Oh my gosh, I just dropped.
Play Valorant, play Call of Duty, and do some fun things like that.
There are two dudes right
you guys
here.
On me?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were right there.
All up to you now.
I'll drive.
Oh my gosh.
I would just try to head on out.
And I'll try to return the favor. It sucks. This is my favorite weapon, just so you're aware. Like hands
The
down.
vehicle?
Yeah, just a big truck running people over. I've had 6 and 7 vehicle kills in a single game before. I'm sure that in some ways it's technically worse than the Move 2, but I enjoy it more than any other weapon. So, all right, someone's been here, but my mouse is still giving me grief.
I will drive.
Oh my. Sorry for making everybody sick at home. Is that better? I can't even tell. So when you talk about content creation, you guys have dabbled in it recently. Big lessons. What have you figured out about it? What have you discovered?
That is a great question. So we streamed, we had a Smash Brothers tournament. We streamed some of our NACE matches within Rocket League, and Overwatch as well. I think, like you said, storytelling is a big aspect of it. We're playing these games, and they can all. What do they mean to our players? What do they mean to our fans? So
Yeah, why
explaining
watch? You tune in. What's the purpose of continuing to watch? What's the question you haven't answered yet? You know that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you have to ask
what
that
does
question.
This mean?
You have to figure out
Right.
what that question is, whether it's a blowout on either end too. And that's one of the things that makes it really interesting. This place has been hard looted. I'm going back to my big weapon and seeing what I can find. My fastest way to get you back probably is just to rush headlong into some folks, see if I can down them and collect their money and go buy you. But it could end up with both of us back in the lobby, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
I mean, at this point, we're looking at 18 teams left. I think this is a solid start.
Yeah, seriously, it was a good start.
Statistically, it doesn't matter. Damage-wise, who cares? We're here to answer questions, not to win the games. Called it.
Down into the creek. Oh, sometimes you can get up over that sucker. Oh, did I just high set myself? No. They've got some kind of really cool collider thing on this that really allows you to keep moving through areas that you shouldn't be able to move through. I gotta get back in that safe zone. I think this place has been looted too. Hey, but I got a plate and a stack. I think stacks start to show up again.
Later on in the game?
Yeah. I think kind of like Fortnite, there's a repopulation or a redistribution of stuff when it's off screen for you. So in your first streaming event, what'd you use? How'd you do it? What were the pieces? Who'd you have?
So we streamed for the Smash Brothers tournament, for example. I would have to have actually our Rocket League coach handled it. We don't have a Smash Brothers. We have a large, impressive Smash Brothers student organization, but no aspect of it within our varsity program. No way.
I'm telling you, it's the best weapon.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Is that fat stack we were looking for?
You get down here, I'm
Easy,
afraid.
you got this. No way.
Oh, no, they got Good Gavin.
If you would have got... That's an impressive start, though.
Yeah.
You got it done with the truck.
I'm telling you, it's my best weapon, by far. Okay, so we got some questions here. Got some questions. What do we got here? Like
The always popular, are we looking at Valorant?
Yeah.
Oh,
That is a really good question. Are you looking at Valorant?
So as far as Valorant goes, obviously keeping an eye on it. Extremely impressed so far with the excitement around it.
Yeah.
There's not a greater developer to be supportive, more so than Riot. Valorant looks good.
That's a lot. That's a lot of syllables in front of your answer. People are going, okay. What?
It's going to take some time. Valorant is not going to. It's not going to happen in August. We will not have a Valorant team. I need to see a little bit more. I want to know how the excitement shakes off through the beta process. See what other colleges are looking at it. There's still that violence aspect to it. They're flipping around a really sharp-looking knife. I don't know why or what impact that could have from a spectating standpoint. Because, again, we need to create something that our students and fans want to watch. But then in addition to that, there's still alumni, Mizzou alum and Boise alums who are not within the gaming culture and might look at some of these games and what's happening, even in this game, for example, differently than we would.
Right.
So that's another aspect too.
It's the interpretation of literal violence. You know, the gaming community does not view that the same way. So, as the non-gaming community, and so sensitivity to that's an important question, important consideration.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, Valorant looks great. 5v5 is nice. There's a relative skill gap involved. There's a lot of good things for it, but it's still in beta. And before we start offering scholarships for beta, we need to see a little bit more. I need to see a little more.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean,
yet another PC game, and that's where I'm looking at it. We're going to add an additional game. I think that we could see a benefit in increasing the diversity of the platforms we're using. So a game like Smash Brothers, for example, on a Switch kind of opens up gaming to an entirely different base.
it does.
Whereas Valorant is just yet another PC game with a high skill gap that some people love and some people have no opportunity to play.
So we're going to add it as what we call a supported game, right? We'll look for opportunities to broadcast it. Whenever possible, we'll allow them to use our connection to an official tournament, like a NACE type of a tournament, but it's not going to be a varsity game in that we won't offer scholarships for it. Because, again, we didn't budget that. This game just kind of came up where we wanted to drop it this time.
All right, soldier. Mark a drop
You call it, Doc. Where's your favorite place to go?
You know what, stadium?
This is the place.
Nice, clean, open. It's going to be late in the drop here. Some people are still going to go there. We won't be alone, but you can usually gather pretty quick, and you know where your fight's going to come.
Sure. We won't be alone, but we'll be the last team standing in stadium.
There you go. I'm dropping to backside.
But we have a random on our team, by the way. Shatter Toker 92, by the way, on our team.
Also, the other thing I like about Stadium is that you can spot somebody pretty quickly, and then fly basically around the corner so that you have a safe drop. Oh,
Primary objective is to
you can
eliminate
actually
all
end up
targets.
there. That was odd. I just discovered something new. You can actually land on part of the stadium. There's a big rumor that this is going to open up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That the developers are already working on it. All right, I've got a massive anti-vehicle weapon. No reason for that, but it's here.
Looks good. It's intimidating.
Ooh, there we go.
I was watching Dr. Disrespect a few weeks ago, and he mentioned something that I think the guy's right in front of me.
Assault rifle located.
I don't think he's got any gun that I don't have, meaning that it's going to be a pistol fight here.
See behind this first pillar? Yep.
Yeah.
Actually,
All right.
we might have been smart to. I keep dropping the wrong weapon.
Shatter here with us?
Yeah, he's over there somewhere.
There he is. Wait.
Oh,
just saw
two
another
over
guy.
here.
Mark the target.
Two coming in on us.
I have one bullet.
Over here.
Moving up.
Okay.
They're coming around the corner, probably. Maybe they got scared and ran away.
Hostile
Oh, they're up
dropping
top
into
here.
the area. Watch
saw
the
'em.
skies.
Right up here. Right there.
3 bullets left in this guy.
Your teammate was sent to the gulag. They'll fight for a chance to redeploy.
They're right behind you.
I'm about to get some ammo.
Ow! I did not see him.
Got their attention.
I must lie over
Put up a decent fight.
here. Unfortunate. Oh, people at home know I should have hit him a bunch more than that. But thankfully, they're not saying anything about it, which I appreciate.
They're not. Very respectable chat.
Yeah.
Welcome to the gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom.
All right, get out of there, and I'll gulag up
Your
and
teammate has failed.
come back.
They're returning to base.
Spam this sleep to support Coach Reap. I
Win
like
here
that.
and you return to the front line. You lose, your fight is over. It's time. Break some. Lost the fight. Return to base.
I'm going to need to review that.
Comes down to me, huh?
It is not over yet.
It looked like I connected
Fire release.
2 or 3 times, but it did not.
Send it up to New York for the review.
Yep. New York for the review. Oh, you got him. It's interesting. The Gulag fight is different early than it is late. Depends on when it happens. You can kind of tell. I mean, if you get an unlucky, like, first, beginning elimination, that's a good spot, actually.
I think the Gulag, at first, when I first heard about the entire concept of Warzone, I despised the fact that there was a Gulag and you could buy your friends back. But I like knowing that the game, I don't know, there's two sides to it. A game like PUBG, very realistic, but you can commit 30 minutes to it. Buy by the first guy that you see and waste a lot of time. But at least this game, there's always an ability to come back.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, of the 3 wins in the last 2 weeks, I mean, I haven't been playing this for very long, but in the wins that I've gotten in the last couple weeks, I think only one of them didn't include a Gulag fight or a revive. You know, I mean, a redeploy. Yeah. So, I mean,
the other guys that I play with, we've only won one game where none of us went to the Gulag.
Yeah. How many wins? How many total wins do you think you have?
Oh gosh, less than you could count them on one hand. I think, yeah.
But they always feel true. This close. They're deceptively.
Oh, how many games could? Yeah, that I was so close to winning. All of them. So many. Dozens.
Well, you should be able to. There is a heartbeat sensor over there too. So you should be able to revive me for 1,500 because I'm not the same value as most other players. But you know, evidently they don't do it that way, which is sad.
They should, just based on the stats
just
that you have.
Based on your stats.
400 damage, you just come back for free.
Yeah.
They just give me some money to let you come back. I feel like we found a good spot. No one's been here. I don't know if I've ever been here.
Yeah, this does not look familiar at all.
I'm gonna go back to this audio. I really can't hear. I wish you could separate some of these effects.
That'll probably happen. There's your ladder. There it is. Oh,
that's a good looking stack right there.
That's a huge fat stack. What happened in this part of the world that people just left money out?
I don't know. This is like an alternative universe. It's a lot of cash just kind of hanging out. Ghost Louis says, if I die right now, they'll donate 1,000. What do you think, Doc?
They'll donate 1,000 what?
But I'm wondering. This is 1,000. 1,000 bits? $1,000? No, Ghost. We need more information before I make a call like that.
Yeah.
What other questions do people in the chat have for?
Well,
esports?
I've got more questions about the decision to broadcast. I think, like most, there's kind of this change in your mind of what the purpose of Twitch is, right? We often see it as it's a revenue source for programs. Do you still believe that? And if not, when did you stop believing that? Or stop thinking about it in that way as a primary revenue source?
When we first started looking at a program, I was also streaming, and obviously you hear plenty of the incredible success stories of streamers who have gone on to make fortunes. And so it's easy to look at an avenue like Twitch as a fantastic way to make a lot of money, but realistically, it's not going to be a game changer for any program. It can be.
They hit us Hard that
I
time.
flipped that. That guy was not where I thought he was. I thought he was on the other side of that box.
Oh, you've already been to Gulag.
Yes.
Okay. Then I.
So yeah, we look at I look at Twitch now more as a way to share stories that are happening within our program. We can highlight, and again, we're not doing all of these things, but we want to do them over the summer and over the fall. We can highlight the various students that are part of our program, various games that we're not supporting at a varsity level. And then what would it look like to bring in other students at Mizzou who are not a part of our program, but maybe they're extremely talented in games like Fortnite and Valorant? Could they come and stream on Twitch and then kind of open up the world of gaming to whatever their niche game is? That's what I look at Twitch as now. It can be a way where our individual programs do make a little bit of side money. It's a fantastic way for people to support our program who might not have other means to do so. I mean, what other avenue can you connect your Amazon account and financially support an esports program? Not many. So it's kind of a fun aspect to it as well. That and we're still getting there. We just got affiliate last week. We're still in the process of setting that up, but eventually, hopefully, our students will be able to subscribe to our channel and use the Mizzou logo as and Twitch emotes, and again support our program financially in a small way, but still a way that will have an impact on a small program.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not the. It's. I mean, no streaming is the end all be all. It's like, oh, because we did this, we have an official super awesome program, but rather it's just another one of the things. You don't open a grocery store to just sell one thing or another. It just happens to be something that you do sell. I don't know. People don't open a grocery store so they can sell fruit, but it's part of what they do.
Right.
They have to have that available. What size monitor do you play on?
Ooh, 24. 144, 24-inch. My setup is a little ridiculous at home. I have my monitor in the middle, 144 frames, and I have two vertical monitors on the side of it that are also 24, 144, and then I have a 46-inch TV mounted above that. So it's a little overkill, but it makes working from home nice. I can consume all of the content that I need to consume.
Where you think?
Move to the safe zone.
I'm a big fan of farmland, but there's not a lot of stuff happening over there as far as contracts go right now. It looks like they're expecting a relatively quiet.
Well, we could work on that contract for start.
Let's make it louder. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
Jump in there.
How was your broadcasting recently received? The new stuff. I mean,
It was great. We had one of our Rocket League coach has a friend. His name is Charles. He goes by Nine, and he's actually a Smash Brothers caster. And I tell you what, and I know you know this more than anybody, but a talented caster can make any stream absolutely enthralling to watch and just exciting, and that's exactly what he did for us. So it was a blast to watch. He made it so much fun. It was hours long, but people tuned in for every second of it because of that. But yeah, very well received. We were stoked with the numbers that we saw, and hopefully the beginning of many more to come.
How did the process of having people be distant during this event? How did that work for you guys?
Yeah, we strategically had to have Smash Brothers allows you to have a spectator, so we had we would choose a random game throughout the bracket to spectate, and then we would on a Nintendo Switch that was then connected to Twitch. And then the caster would tune in through Discord and cast somebody else's Nintendo Switch who was spectating the matches.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we would use the Elgato capture. You probably what's it called? It's the Elgato capture card thing that can connect to the Nintendo Switch. So
Yeah.
that we used and kind of a
We got some dudes around here.
paper and intricate set. There are people around here. Yes. I hear your audio and mine just a little. So
Oh yeah. You'll hear my game audio just a little bit.
Mike Glover's in the chat says that he hereby challenges us to a 2v2 Valorant match.
Okay, Valorant snobs need to
Your
check
teammate has
themselves
entered
here.
the gulag. Surviving.
Oh. I'm running.
You run to me. What color are you? You're blue, right? Yeah, stay on
blue.
me. I think we're going to lose our partner here. We already did. That's okay.
Okay. I found a dead horse. Not my doing.
Yeah, I saw him down there. He didn't look too good.
No. Didn't it? The farm animals did not
Teammate
fare well.
deploying to the AO.
Hey, he won. He's coming back.
Okay, good.
Got another loot box. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking this guy. Oh, you got people?
Well, there was a guy on me, but
He's no longer on you.
he's been taken care of.
He's been managed.
Moved from the game.
Oh, right here.
Going this way.
Why is it not IDing them? I got it.
Yeah, I am also having
Oh,
a
behind,
heck of a
behind.
time with the alt issue. I took the armor off the guy at orange. Two guys over here at the orange marker.
One guy over here.
I'm under attack.
I'm coming to you. We're kind of pinched.
Right here on me. Orange marker.
Moving out.
Yeah.
Found an aid station.
But he is healing, but he's right around here somewhere.
Oh,
I had a feeling I would find him. Ah, I got down, but I'm right behind you. I'm inside.
oh, I just got flashbang. That was impressive. Impressive use of a
For two on the
flashbang.
gulags today. Let's see if I can make it through.
Welcome to the gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom.
But now you got to help me,
Now's
Doc.
a fight.
You got it.
Daunting your enemy is an effective way to decide defense. So is a well-placed rock.
One thing I'm pretty good at is call-outs. I don't always aim
Okay.
well, but I can call out pretty well. Especially Overwatch. You want to play some Overwatch?
The fight begins.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Get ready. You're next.
I'm bragging about it. Okay, there he is. He's the guy laying
took
dead in
care
the
of-
middle.
I
I
took care
didn't
of-
realize you were in it. I'm an idiot.
the guy laying in the middle.
Yeah, that's him.
It's time. Break some.
Where is the helicopter and hospital?
Oh my gosh.
Return to base. Your team can pay for your release if they have the money.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it. We'll just leave it. We'll just leave it at that. I just don't want to talk about it.
Moving out.
Definitely, I'll just watch me fly in here by myself. Definitely hear people too. This is not good.
I love we got Straight Razor on here. Mike's pretty awesome, dude.
It's terrifying when you can hear people.
Oh,
Gonna make
absolutely.
a run for it. Ready?
Here they come. Behind you.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm not trying to scare you more or anything.
Messed up
but
all those guns that I wanted to get. The loud rocket.
I don't want to mess up your cognitive. Probably there's a guy coming in. Nice. No, Messing Ward, you are
Don't-
not chopped liver. But that reference ages you a little bit because for people who don't know, chopped liver was on a lot of menus for a long time post World War II because people didn't have much in World War II, and so liver was actually kind of a it was a piece of meat that you could buy, and so chopped liver fell out of fashion, and no one purchased it. So what am I, chopped liver? Yeah, you're old. It's actually Coach JJ.
Oh my!
The enemy took that one. We'll be back.
There are two guys in there, Doc.
Yeah, but the one,
There's one laying under that bed.
he downed him pretty good though.
Thought so.
We may bring in the
You got
ringer
points.
here shortly when he's done with his phone interview. My 20-year-old son,
Okay, I like that.
who's home right now. No one is chopped liver. Not you, JJ. You're all good. But he's talking about how he doesn't throw down. Doesn't play these B tier games, which is sad to hear. Okay, all right, we're doing better here. We're getting our peripherals dialed in, our volume dialed.
Yeah, I think
in.
we're ready to go.
Yeah.
I think I'm. Are we ready to start? Are we live? Do you want to go live now, Doc? And we can
Yeah,
get
yeah,
started?
we should 100% go live. Let's do that.
Let's show people what we can do. JJ, I didn't see. I skimmed this thing. I saw Mike.
Hey,
now I
one
see-
of you coaches, if as long as you're not trash, jump in. You can see my my profile here. Just send a friend request and jump in with us. That'd be nice. We were talking about broadcasting. So that's the interesting thing. It's the lift of how do you get in, how do you get your camera in to tell the story, and who do you get to tell the story. But your discovery of it's really important who tells the story and how they tell the story to make it somewhat compelling. Without that piece, and a lot of people think they do it. They think they're good at it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are.
Right. I would say that's true. My goal is to find students that we have within the university that are excited and then talented and good at sharing those stories. I think that they exist and they're out there, and we can provide them a pretty sweet opportunity to show the world that they can do that. So,
but here's the grand question: how much of that is craft, right? That they have to learn and engage in the process of, and how much of it is just natural? I mean, how much teaching is involved in crafting good storytellers?
yeah, I guess that is the question. I would imagine from the ones that I've heard that are at that next level, I would imagine a lot of it is kind of just inherent talents that they already have. You can certainly not going to be good at this first time you try it if you don't put the time in.
Right, a lot of time is important. But I have people come up to me from time to time and claim because they know the game so well that they can be great casters. I just need to give them the chance. I struggle with that because I don't think just wanting to do something is enough. It doesn't really qualify you to do it.
Right.
So finding that talent is tricky, isn't it?
It is, but one of the benefits that people in that position have that come to you and say, can I have this opportunity? It's never been easier for them to create a portfolio themselves that they can present to you and say, not only do I think I would be good at it, here's some examples of me doing it. It would be very easy to mute an Overwatch League match, cast it yourself, and then send that to someone like you or I and say, here's the level of skill that I have. That costs nothing, and it's a fantastic way for us to see the skill level that they have. So I encourage people who come to me and say, I can do this, I can do that, put together a portfolio. and whatever, whether it's social media, whether it's casting, whether it's actually playing the games themselves, if you can send me a link to a Dropbox that is full of you looking good, sounding good, making good call outs, whatever it is, that's going to speak volumes to me more than a long email that tells me how motivated you are to be good.
And how long you've been playing the game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I was.
Yeah, because I have. It's not hard to have.
3 in season 6.
Have a significant amount of time in a game like League of Legends and not be any better than you were 5 years ago. So I don't. Time in game is always a relatively irrelevant statistic for me.
I feel the same.
Coach Adam Antor in the chat.
Oh no! Okay, shut it down.
I guess we got to wrap it up. Shut
it down.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, if you've been tuning into this stream, you've seen me jump through a lot of windows and death spectate Kevin a bunch. So.
I got I was answering that question. In my mind, this whole time I thought we were in the beginning lobby, so now we're actually playing. So here we go.
Hey, we're playing. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Adam said 800 viewers watching these two boomers.
Oh, come on now. Kevin's not a boomer. but I have the... Uh-oh. What?
Yeah. I thought it was another one of those I could take care of myself.
Oh, you got
Very much not.
Can I take these guys on, or should I run away?
I think you can do it, Doc.
Oh,
I say go for
baby.
Your teammates are in the gulag now. If they survive,
I think
they deploy.
I'm gonna get a better position here because they could be taking ground and flanking me currently. I do have this funky teammate here. So what are they carrying weapon wise?
It happens so fast. It's something greater than a pistol.
Okay, find me a vehicle that I can run them over with.
Got movement. Teammates redeploying to the AO.
Be right there. I'll be right there to help. 4 for 4 on the gulags today, by the way.
Wow.
Which, I don't know if that's a statistic that you want to tout too much, but...
Yeah, right.
I'm all about second chances.
I think we scared them off.
Bounty target has been marked. Kills them.
Alright, I'm back. It's like nothing ever happened. This is my old skill.
Losing ground.
I think this is the one I want. No. Okay. It was like nothing ever happened. There's my weapon.
Moving.
Coach Antor, do you have any questions about collegiate esports or anything, any wisdom that we could share with you?
Yeah. So I do have a question that might spark some of this. So Valorant comes onto the scene. It's a really, really cool game. People love it, as they should, right? I mean, it's a well-designed game. It's so funny. I find myself mirroring your long lead up to the bad news. You know, it's like, are you gonna do Valorant? Oh, great company, great. She's got a great personality. No, seriously, one of my best friends ever. Oh, so it's a no then?
Yeah,
but yeah. Our bounty is right over here.
That's what I'm kind of peeking at.
Yeah. Oh, they're in a vehicle now?
I had a feeling.
It looks like 2. I'm right behind them.
Smash their vehicle.
I'm going to run them down, see what I can do.
Chase him. I'll go get this vehicle. We'll chase him down. We'll do
okay,
a
I like
punch.
it. I like it.
Be fun. Let me see if I can get AO Famous to join us.
Okay, let's go. Running these folks down.
We'll be right there.
They're a little faster than I am. At some point, I think they're going to get mad, turn around, and try to fight. But I don't think I don't think they know yet how many people are in this vehicle, and that it's not many. In fact, it's just me. I'm getting shot at by somebody else now too. I wonder if they dropped a dude. Now they're circling back.
Yeah, with Valorant, I just don't know if there's enough of a differentiation between it and other games that are on the table to justify that being another varsity game.
Yeah, because you
At a
got to
school
give
that-
resources to it, and you have no idea what the college scene is even going to be like for it.
Right.
I think that's something that people, they're like, oh, it's a good game. Well, yeah, but a good game doesn't make a good esport.
Correct. And we also have to be careful. I use this example a lot, but a game like Apex Legends came out and took Twitter by storm for 48 hours. It was the biggest game of all time. And it was held under wraps, and all the streamers came out, and what an unbelievable day for Battle Royales and EA, and unbelievable launch. But then, just as fast as Apex became what it was, it disappeared.
Right.
And if
there are a lot of people that
like
still play it, in fairness, but
of course. If we had gone all out,
Apex
the hype.
team on full Apex Scullies, like straight away. Oh man.
Mind you, I'm down. I don't know how, but I'm down.
Anybody around you? Oh, your teammate's picking this up?
Oh yeah, he is. I thought that was you. We got red closing as well.
I'll drive.
I got a vehicle. You want to jump in?
That's what his feet are.
I can get you
Great
out.
documentary coming on Apex.
Here we go.
Because you can turn off blood, could Valorant replace CS:GO? I don't know. I still worry about flipping that knife.
We got a way out right here.
How do you get a scholarship to Mizzou, Antor?
Yeah, what are your grades
If there were
like,
anybody else, I
Antor?
would-
Yeah, cool. Can we see some transcripts? How are those transcripts holding up, buddy? I say,
there are a
let's
lot
go
of graduate
Back
opportunities.
inbound.
want to go tall here?
Be average all my life, he says. Yeah.
Oh, we got action.
Missed 7 shots.
Gas is inbound.
Oh,
Marking new safe zone.
Mark the target.
Movement marker, top of the roof, 160.
Enemy UAV overhead.
It would be average. He also said, what is the difference?
Moving.
What difference do we see between big schools and small schools? For an esports team?
Small schools can move much, much faster. Getting things organized, getting people hired. By the way, I just went complete John McClane on you guys.
Yeah, You're on your way up? Taking the stairs. I'm probably going to run into this guy.
I jumped in a window that they were all in, so that happened.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to gulag this business, I believe, and I'll be back shortly. I also, like you, have a perfect record in my gulag experience.
Welcome to the Gulag.
Is that
If
true?
you survive, you earn your freedom.
Again, perfect
Fight
score.
has begun. You're up next. Get ready.
I've sprayed at least one person in a
I'm starting to think that this might be the best teammate we're going to have all day, Doc.
Well,
You win this fight,
we can
and
get
you
my
return
son
to
in
the
here.
front line. But if you lose, you're
Hey,
done.
yeah, I'm down for that too. And that is no offense to you.
It's time. Break some.
Some taken.
But after he got me up the second time, I'm moving slow right now. On that gulag. I'm watching.
Oh, come on.
Return to base.
Here it comes. Get it.
Okay,
Hey, buy
that's
you back.
Team can pay for your release.
AO
They have
Payments
the
has
money.
24,000.
so. Oh, he's buying us both back, I guess. Here we go.
I don't need to be brought back. I never died.
Oh.
Damn.
Didn't you gulag like really early? This was the last time.
I gulagged earlier.
Friendly drop back headed your way.
I would agree with what you said about the large schools versus small schools. I think that, I don't know what pros and cons to both, of course, but
Yeah.
the speed at which people can work might vary.
There's a conventional
depending on how
wisdom I think that people have about big schools like yours and mine. What's your enrollment? Let's define a big school here.
30,000.
30,000. We fluctuate between 24 and 28, so pretty similar. Oh, there's a lot of dudes. I'm running away from a lot of dudes. Hopefully they won't.
Where are you? Oh, you are. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We'll see you soon.
maybe.
Stay close to this guy. He's very good.
Trying to get to you guys.
Allied UAV overhead.
Oh my.
Did he just pop this UAV?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We got guys on the roof.
Come over to the safety of my squad here. Oh,
Uh-oh.
picking you up.
I would love to save his life, but I don't think it's going to happen. Well, he had self-revive, too. Of course he did.
Yeah.
Go. He spent $24,000.
Yeah, I know the audience is
Enemy
impressed with
UAV
my
overhead.
driving skills.
And in the chat asked if this is Forza. Are you playing Forza, Doc?
Yeah, pretty much.
What actually adds that? A very
Oh.
impressive driver. That red's
Alright.
coming in fast, though.
Yeah, it is.
One thing that I didn't
Gonna
expect.
take a little bit of sting
Oh my,
here.
there's people all around me. Round one.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone located.
I'm seriously dinged. I think I'm gonna die to this. The truck is in good shape though.
Allied UAV overhead.
I think if you spend more time closer to AO famous, we'll win this game.
I think you're right. But I mean I have no equipment at this point.
We're gonna let him carry us to our first win.
Here we go. I am his Uber driver. Ooh. Get dinged hard by that rocket. It's maybe a short journey here.
Get to the safe zone now.
Yeah, I mean, oh, there's a truck up ahead. Two of them. They may be chasing each other. Oh, we got a sniper on the roof on the left.
Moving.
Oh, so just telling myself all this?
Sounds good.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Wait, I think AO of Fame is still have. Does he have Gulag?
Yeah, he does. Gulag isn't closed yet.
Are we gonna stay and wait?
I'm interested to see how he does. Aren't you?
Me too. I think he's. Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely gonna wait through this.
Oh, unlucky.
Learn from the loss.
Unlucky.
28. I feel like we're putting the pieces together, though.
I agree. Okay. So we never really answered that question, but it is something that we could still answer. I mean, really, the difference between big schools. We'll take a short game break here and like burn through some of these questions and then get back into it. You know what, Adam Antor? You're already on my list. So what I have is a big question mark. As we're talking about big schools, is easier or harder? Some things are really, really hard. I think the assumption is that all big schools have a ton of money, and I suppose that's true. But how much of it is accessible? I mean, when you need to buy stuff, do you just go down to the vault and just grab some stuff? So when you need to buy stuff, do you just go down to the vault?
So I heard you twice there. The big bank on campus right in the middle. We can kind of go in and just, it's like the Scrooge kind of stacks of gold, buy anything we need. But that is a great point, is how accessible is it? And I think that's one of the biggest differences between large and small is the access to those funds. And I don't think that means big schools won't have an ability to prove esports is worth, but it's going to take more time, and it needs to have a larger impact before it would kind of get to the level that we think it'll be at. Just because the school is so large, there are so many large, fantastic programs at a school like Boise State or Mizzou. So what really makes this stand out is kind of what we have to show.
Right. Yeah, and you can get money for things, but you have to prove where the money's going to come from. There's got to be a program attached to it. There's got to be an academic purpose attached to it, or a student life purpose. Your world comes from student life and student engagement. Mine comes from the academic world, but both have to prove the same thing, essentially, right? What's the value?
Yep.
What's this doing to put and keep students on campus?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you a question. You've got a year under your belt now. What's one of the things that you did that felt like it took the longest amount of time to accomplish the least? What was your biggest boulder this year on campus?
Oh my gosh.
And there may be several, but what's the one that comes to mind when I say it was the hardest thing to push?
I mean, I think when you look at what esports is in the facility, what we did was we took a computer lab that was on campus and we scratched it, and then we just put another computer lab in that same room. And that's not an easy task to explain to people, that you're just going to essentially replace something with something else that's a little darker and fancier and has lights. But at the end of the day, that is what makes our facility so special. So on paper, creating an esports facility isn't very much different than a computer lab. And it took pretty much, I mean, the story at Mizzou, it's an incredible story. Move-in day was on August 13th. My first student pulled in with their mom in the minivan, and right behind her was the UPS truck that pulled in with all of our computers for the facility, which is unbelievable when you think about 8 months of work coming down to, I have a photo on my phone of her car and the UPS truck back to back. So it's an amazing amount of time and effort. 8 months goes into the fact that the computers show up the same day as the students do. We had fun that night unboxing those computers and setting all of those up. but yeah, it took quite a bit of time just to get the facility to the level that we wanted it to be at, and it is nowhere at the level that it's going to be at. Hopefully, 6 months and 12 months from now.
Yeah.
But developing an esports facility on a campus is not necessarily easy, but we got it done, and I love what we have. We have a very large space that, again, will look different every month, hopefully for the months and months to come, and ideally be one that emulates what yours looks like, because it's top notch. That's what I want.
Well, but it kind of continues to reframe in your mind all the time, right? I mean, based on your design decisions, I mean, the way you kind of laid things out, I'm sure some of it works really well. Is there something you discovered after you kind of set up your, let's just say, your space the way you wanted, that you kind of went, this isn't ideal now? If you've ever had an opportunity to hear how intense Overwatch call-outs are, the last thing you would probably do then is put 9 Overwatch players in the middle of your facility. Yeah.
They face each other, and they're right behind the League of Legends, and they're right behind Rocket League. So as one of our Overwatch coaches in the chat is saying, our sound setup is poor. It's not great. That's something I would do differently. How do we put Overwatch in a closet and close the door so that they can scream all they want and League of Legends can still have a conversation? Those are the questions I'll try to solve over the summer. Because
Koba says, monkey, monkey, monkey.
Exactly.
Monkeys have, monkeys won. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Our monkey shouter was in the chat not long ago. So he is famous for that. Well, a very loud player that I can hear from my office down the hallway. So yeah, we're working on the soundproofing, but putting Overwatch in the middle of that room, it looks great in the photos, but it doesn't sound great in the practice.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing is having these spaces that look great but don't always necessarily perform great. We have 24 machines in one room, and we often have other teams scheduled. In fact, we thought it would be a great idea to put 2 rows of 6 facing each other. We thought this would be perfect for Overwatch.
Yeah.
And so we made the mistake of having those folks scrim. Well, if you're sitting across from me, you can hear my call-outs.
Yeah.
They come across your mic, yeah. That's tricky.
But at the same time, when you're talking collegiate esports, it's not like I'm going to have an ability to put 3 different teams in 3 different rooms either. So there's a happy medium there.
I mean, Maryville doesn't have that. Harrisburg, which has got a great space, doesn't have that either.
Right.
That makes it kind of tricky.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. All right, hey, questions that you've got, throw in the chat. But we're gonna take a game here while we're chatting through this. That's a good answer. That's a good answer to what's now that what's one thing that's changed. Did you answer the Boulder question? What's been your the thing you've put the most amount of energy into?
Well, that's what I said was the just getting, when you look at an esports facility, it's desks, it's computers, it's carpet, and it's lights. Those are relatively simple things all in themselves, but easy, right? Yeah. How could that take longer than a few weeks? But when you look at it, I mean, you want to make sure that you have the best of the best, and you're also, when I want to put carpet in my facility, there's also 21 other residence halls and a square mile of campus buildings that also need carpet and paint and desks and things. So it's not like just because esports is cool and new that I get to jump to the front of the line and get everything that I want. So yeah, I would say that was my answer, was getting the facility to a point where I felt comfortable giving somebody a tour and saying, this is Mizzou Esports. We're proud of this. And we are absolutely there now. But it's funny when you kind of look at it and the amount of time that it took, and for what it is, it is what it is. But it's a very special space right now that I'm very proud of.
That's really cool. That's a good answer. Facilities, I think, for many people is that boulder, right? That you push and push and push on, and it's hard to see any change, but it makes you stronger. in terms of the skills that you develop on how to get things done on a campus. All right, where are we dropping? I say let's go stadium backside. What do you think?
It's you and I this time. Yeah, stadium backside.
All right.
I'm in. Is Mizzou planning on going all out on their streams with casters and production, or is the vision a different focus? I would say production is a very large focus of ours for the next 12 to 18 months. My goal for the first year was to become competitively viable and make a name for ourselves in that sense. And now we want to share the program that we've developed over the last year with the world and the other aspects that our school has to offer. So production is certainly, Kobe, what we're going to be focusing on over the next year and a half.
Can you just for a second brag on your League of Legends team? Who I believe did I refer to them recently as redheaded?
It's so funny you said that because one of our coaches as well has always said that he is always felt as if League of Legends was the stepchild of our program, which is funny. It's just the way that they were introduced to the program. We had an opportunity because of a generous donation to the program to speed things along, and the initial plan was to have an Overwatch team and a Rocket League team and add League of Legends at a later date. But we were able to add League of Legends on day one. And with that
because you had the kids, you had some kids hanging out there.
Yes, absolutely. We had Diamond 2 average students that were older, kind of knew what life at Mizzou was like, unlike the Overwatch and Rocket League team, which had a lot of transfers and freshmen. League of Legends was at a point where I could, in a way, step back a little bit, and then they were able to kind of move things forward. But one thing led to another, and we joined the Midwest Esports Conference, and we started traveling for competition.
You can take down some dudes. You can take down some dudes and then finish your thought.
There's two guys here. Yeah, two on me.
They
I just like the gulag.
Yeah, you
I
do.
did.
All right. I'm not gonna try to take those guys down
Your
solo.
teammate is in the gulag now.
But long story short, League of Legends team ended up, we traveled across the Midwest, probably 6 or 7 trips in a big 12-passenger van last semester and this semester. And unfortunately, we were not able to complete the season. But when it's all said and done, this League of Legends team that was added just a few weeks before we kicked off the season ended up making a substantial amount of scholarship funds. And in my opinion, really made a name for themselves. We learned a ton. New coach, actually, his name is Sean. He came in from Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Moved to Colombia. Go ahead.
I won my gulag match. NBD.
I didn't know you were in Gulag. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I don't want to talk about
It's
it.
difficult to do.
The people at home know what happened, but we're just going to keep that between. It's really a private matter between myself and approximately 900 other people. Getting lots of action down here.
I'm right behind you, Doc. That's 6 for 6 on Gulag today.
NBD, right? It's like gulag is
NBD.
just a time penalty more than anything for you. Yeah,
we
so,
had.
but they were so successful early, and Sean, your coach just falls in your lap. What's that about?
Well, and that's I mean, we put together a program that I mean, really, when we announced our program, it went across the country. We said we were going to have an Overwatch program, and I wake up the next morning and have thousands of students reach out from all over the country, which is a reason why we had students that moved to Columbia to attend the University of Missouri from Washington, D.C. and Texas and Kansas, and it's because they found out that Mizzou was getting into esports. So we had a large reach, and with that comes the ability for a person like Sean to find a program and reach out and kind of make himself known and put himself on our radar. And he just immediately clicked with the program and the team. And we saw a lot of success from that. So very excited about the league team, and I think that
How has
the
your
future
recruiting
of
for
that
that
team is extremely
changed?
bright.
I mean, so
For league,
yeah, for league. I mean, have you done some league recruiting this year? Even though it's
Sean and I have a meeting tomorrow actually to talk about recruiting, what it's going to look like. Recruiting it's interesting. Right when we were about to ramp it up and start talking about on-campus visits and who we wanted to chat with, not allowed to be on our campus. So
right. That changed
recruiting is
everything.
going to look different. Yeah, it really did. And we had some big names for all three of our games on our radar, but it's hard to convince or to even explain what Mizzou is to a guy that lives in New York City, for example,
Yeah.
and try to get him to move across the country to Columbia, Missouri to play Overwatch when he doesn't have an opportunity to see the campus. So we will likely change some of the recruiting aspects, and it'll look a little different this year. I still think that there's no doubt we'll find talent. Even if we had to look on our campus, I think we could still put together some impressive rosters for any game we want to play.
Well, you do have a lot of. You're very magnetic in that part of the country, and you have a ton of stuff that your kids can go, or at least pre-COVID used to be able to go and do. How do you think that's going to change? Do you have a guess?
I don't know what fall is going to look like at any university or higher education. I really hope that we have a campus full of students. It's hard to know. I mean, a month ago, if I would have told you what would happen in early May, I would have been completely wrong. So I don't want to guess what life is going to look like in the middle of August. But I think the world is going to be different. I still think a school like Mizzou that's been around for quite a long time and has survived multiple world wars and the Great Depression, I think we're going to be okay. It's just going to look a little different.
Yeah.
And school that can adjust and look at something like COVID-19 and say, okay, that's the reality we're living in. How do we adjust? What does the future look like? If the schools that can do that successfully are the schools that are going to be successful in all of the other programs that they have. I'm talking larger than just esports.
I think we're going to be in a good spot if we can make our way to the backside of military base over here.
Going this way.
I'm following you.
Shots. I'm hearing shots. Oh, here we go. We're going to annoy anybody watching with my obsessive use of.
You have that hotkey to your mouse yet?
Almost. Yeah, it's
area
bound
and
to my
use the
W. So.
I personally, as much as I like the heartbeat sensor when I have one, I wish it didn't exist. I don't know, that's what I feel
Drop
like.
back on the way.
Oh, there should be like one per game. At rating has two questions.
Gas is moving in.
Love bad at rating.
One, do you believe that NACE, EGF, and other governing bodies will be able to acquire Riot Games IP? And two, if the NCAA decides to pick up esports in the next 2 years, do you believe it would take over the collegiate esports market?
What do you think?
Well, that's not fair. You can't just throw that back to me.
Well, I might be able to. I mean, I could, conceivably.
I think organizations such as NACE, as long as they continue to prove the value that they bring to the space, will only increase the probability and decrease the amount of time it's going to take before they
Recon intel
have an
secured.
ability
Solid work.
to acquire Riot IPs. Or not just acquire, but have the ability to work with them. The NCAA, I mean, if you're familiar with the University of Missouri and our relationship with the NCAA over the last few years, I will say no comment.
No comment.
No comment.
Fair enough. Here's what's interesting is that a lot of people, I think, have the wrong impression of Blizzard and Riot and what it is that they do. They are not anti any type of competition. but they don't extend beyond what they can actually manage. And so I'm gonna jump in my favorite weapon here.
Don't worry,
Sure.
I'll drive.
You want me to jump in the passenger seat?
Oh no, you can. Let's see.
But there's a loadout drop not too far, Doc. You want to head to that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
This seat's fine.
Yeah, I could use my perks. My weapons are kind of crap in there, but my perks are pretty good. Hopefully I put it on the right side here.
Taking that seat for you.
All right. Let's go
Don't
find
worry,
some
I'll
high
drive.
ground. I'm gonna map something and ping it where we should go.
Yeah.
Mark.
I think we go middle of the next circle. We know where it's at. We might as well take advantage of it.
Yep.
Anyway, I like where you were going with the. They don't want to do more than they can.
Well, yeah, they want
manage from a
to.
competitive
Yeah, they have to be able to manage it, and frankly, they don't have. I mean, the thing that is consistent that a lot of people don't know across all these different big companies and organizations is that they have very few people managing these huge events. I mean, even LCS is like a full-time team of 70, and then they ramp up for these worldwide events. You're like, how could just 70 people? And you know, half of those people are finance folks, right? Just paying bills, their accounts payable.
Right.
So, you know, that makes it tricky. And then you look at the collegiate organizations, and you've got
Enemy
some
team is hunting you. Stay
wonderful
alert.
folks. Okay, yeah, let's get a pie. Do I have now? Oh, I do. Hold on.
They're hunting you, Doc.
That's fine.
Just so you know.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna pick this up. We're gonna hunt them
Has
right
been
back.
marked.
They can
Kill
hunt.
them.
They can hunt me all they want. Let's go.
My curiosity is based on their willingness to sign contracts with groups like Play Versus, the Big East, and other partner conferences.
Yeah, I think that play versus thing has kind of gone kind of wonky. Yeah, I'm going to buy.
I just fell down that ladder. Oh my gosh.
Did you hurt yourself? How bad you hurt yourself?
I'm good.
Okay.
I caught myself, I think, on the last rung there. They're level 2 though. They're not shying away from us.
Sorry, I'm just clearing window space so I can actually get this thermal to work. You'll probably want to back away.
Kind of.
Oh, down here.
Come on.
He dead.
Good
Where-
work.
Where are you at?
I dropped down. I was gonna watch them over here. Got some cash right there.
You want to go grab it? I'll cover you.
No, I'm saying we because you averted the bounty, so we just got
Oh,
some
yeah.
money. If we go get our bounty, it's $5,400. We need the money.
Well, what I'm
But
going
they're
to
in the
need is
middle
I'm
of the
going to need
circle. I like where they're at.
self-revive. What I'm going to need. Oh, I like. Yeah.
like-
Yeah, we probably should.
You've got gas inbound. Safe zone
I
relocated.
know that's going to.
They're at that buy station, I think.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll drive.
I got a plate up. You want some plates?
Yes, please, if you got them.
I'll take the wheel.
Oh no, you're driving. You're driving.
Oh yeah,
I'll
you
drive.
want
Allied
some.
UAV overhead.
Right.
Oh, nice. Dropping that UAV. Oh, they're gonna be right here as soon as we get out. The other side of this, but they're gonna be on open ground here.
Soldier incoming.
Okay. You get shots on them and all.
There's people everywhere.
Yep, I downed one of them with the explosion at least. Yep, I'm spectating.
I'm killing bathroom campers. I'm hiding in the bathroom.
Ah,
You've
Man.
got bombed out there.
No more rest.
Return to base for debrief.
Well, some.
Another down though.
Yep. Nice. So yeah, I like that question maybe as much as any of the ones that we've heard so far, which was what do we think about those folks? Play versus Big East, other partner conferences. I mean, I think they're going to continue to work with folks, right? And to be able to put on stuff, but not beyond what they can manage, right? They want to have their thing because there's some institutional value in that. And no one likes to be told, hey, I know that thing you're doing, it's great and all, but and I'll share with you, I recently had an exchange with a student who took exception to the way we were broadcasting our Rainbow Six. We'll leave the student out of it, but sent me this long, detailed, well, here's what you need to do, and some of it was good advice, but it was out of the blue, and it was 95% critique, like criticism,
right.
Like you're not doing a good job. And I'm like, we're doing this
Gotcha.
for you. We don't have to. Rainbow Six is not a varsity game for us. It's just a supported group of students, and we wanted to give them a boost, and we're going to bring in our own folks, to do that. And it was mostly just a rant, and that's where I think a lot of these organizations pump the brakes, which is it's great that you're excited about this, but don't come in and tell us everything we're doing wrong and that you want to do it better. There's no motivation to support somebody who comes from a position of you're doing a terrible job. It's like,
right.
All right, whatever, I think there's some of that.
Sure. I feel like gaming culture is unique and not necessarily in a good way sometimes when you look at, for some reason, there's this inherent desire between people that game that in order for Valorant to be successful, it needs to kill Overwatch. It's the Overwatch killer. And there's like this anti-Overwatch pro-Val. I think gaming, esports specifically, is still so relatively new and not near as big as gaming is, right? Esports is still small. Yeah. I don't understand why there's this notion that all esports fans don't support or at least accept the other games and then other people trying to create content within those games. For example, like you said with Rainbow Six, I mean, there's so many people that want to enter the scene, and maybe it's for financial gain or maybe it's for publicity. But at the end of the day, it's a win-win if people are excited about esports and gaming and they want to share that. It's not going to be perfect. And I think esports, collegiate esports, professional esports is going to look significantly different in 5 years than it does today.
For sure.
And it's not going to be a smooth ride during those 5 years to whatever it is. So it's going to take failure. It's going to take organizations coming and going, companies coming and going. But I think that's what is necessary to get to a point where we can look back in 20 years and say, this is what collegiate esports is going to be.
Bad rating makes it really interesting. There's some tears from Varsity Esports Foundation. No, that's not what we're saying. Bad rating makes point that the Valorant's a blend of Overwatch and CS:GO, and will take a substantial amount of both of their communities' focus away. Maybe, but also maybe not. So there's look up adoption curve dynamics, right? It's more of a social stratification. That's not the right way to say it, but basically there are members of a community who are always focused not on the newest thing, but being a part of the community of early adopters, right? Adoption curve. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, Facebook is terrible, right? Well, no, not necessarily. Facebook for those people is not the new cool thing, right? And there's far more energy around the newest, coolest thing. We saw that with Apex as well, the newest, coolest thing, and like, oh, Fortnite's gone. No, not necessarily. But the people who get their energy from being a part of smaller, more vibrant communities, especially around technology or new things, tend to be the early curve adopters. We know this because it's studied quite a bit in education. You've got a lot of educators who are early adopters. They're the people who were first on to Second Life and virtual worlds. They were the first people on to the maker movement. They were the first people onto game-based learning. They were the first people on to the VR movement, right? You see the trend, and they tend to want to be at the lowest part of the wave, where they're the fewest people who feel like they're making the biggest thing. Now, all of these things eventually develop and reach a stasis, and over time they decay. But that decay is often determined by its validity within the space. So Apex didn't suddenly go away, but it's not the new hot thing that everybody's playing. It still has its own community, still has its own event and broadcast community. You and I probably get a lot of the same emails from students who are like, I play this game, you should make it varsity. It's an awesome game, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it likely is. But there's so many other factors into making something a varsity game, not the least of which is the teamwork aspect of it. So it eliminates a lot of solo play games or even duo play games. But and then the other question of who the heck are we going to play? So I just say, as it relates to Valorant, there's an adoption curve swell that's happening right now. But that doesn't mean that Overwatch is going to be diminished. It doesn't mean that CS:GO is going to be diminished, because those folks have their community. And the way I can comment, I think, from a position of authority, is that in my pre-doctoral research, I spent a lot of time focusing on what do you call them? Legacy gaming communities, studying people who are playing a game that was 10 and 12 years old at parallel rates to what you would expect people to play in a big, really cool game right now, right? It's the same sizes of steady communities that are playing together. So one of my favorites, I researched role play communities in Second Life, which had passed its swell in the curve. Still a lot of people in Second Life, but these were role-play communities that came together and played Battlestar Galactica or played Star Trek in a role-play virtual environment. And they didn't care what everybody else wanted. This was their community. So once those communities are established, they tend to stay, as long as the game remains engaging to an extent. Already some big names. Koba, Alex, I love it. Saying they're feeling bored with Valorant, and it's only in beta.
Yeah, I think a big aspect of it's genius that Valorant did it. The way that they distributed the keys for the game is a phenomenal way to get eyeballs. You know, I don't watch or really enjoy watching CS:GO, but I watched Valorant for hours.
Yep.
I got my key, and I still have not played it, but I watched it, and it's a good way to get a person like myself I want to get a key because everybody else wants to get a key. I'm sitting there watching Summit. I'm getting an idea for what he plays and what he thinks about it. That's a brilliant way to get people interested and connected to your game. But at the same time, that's going to inflate a lot of the numbers. You know, they might never hit the numbers that they did ever again.
Right.
So that's an interesting place to be, whereas a game like Overwatch probably didn't peak at its beta, I would imagine, on Twitch. So who knows? It's tough to make these calls so early. But again, with Valorant, what they have in their back pocket is Riot. And Riot has unlimited resources, unlimited money, and unlimited ability to do whatever they want. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle a competitive game that is, in a way, 100% different than League of Legends. And what aspects of League of Legends will they put into Valorant, and what aspects will be completely different? We won't know for some time.
We won't know. Yeah, and hopefully the community will have a big influence in that. I mean, MOBAs in general came about because community had the ability to do cool things in the game, built on mods essentially. Okay, so so your coat closet suddenly becomes a time machine, right?
Okay.
And in a way, it probably already is. You look in the back of your coat closet, and there's some like, what? Oh, why do we still
Sure.
have this? And you can go back and you can have a conversation with yourself 18 months ago. What do you
Okay.
What are you telling yourself about the next 18 months of your esports experience that would be the most valuable to your former self?
The small steps are required for the big vision. And luckily I bought into that, and I knew that from day one, that this is not going to happen overnight. Collegiate esports is in its infancy. And the University of Missouri is in a unique and amazing place to be, kind of helping to shape what that will look like for a large public school in the SEC, and what does that mean? So a lot of what I focused on over the last 18 months was small steps. How do we get an article in our alumni magazine that goes out to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people? That process began late 2019. That article was published last week. And that's huge, and it'll have implications for our program for months and months to come, and put eyes on our program that don't see Twitter or Facebook or news releases, but they're plugged into the University of Missouri through the Alumni Association. So we kind of checked that box, and that's just one example of many steps that we kind of had on this massive checklist of things that we wanted to slowly work our way through. And doing those things slowly over the course of 18 months has gotten us to a point where, again, I can stand here today and look back on my last 18 months. If you ask me what I would change, I don't think I would change a single thing.
No, I'm not saying what you would change, but what would you want
Sure.
yourself to know that you didn't know then?
That these small steps do, that they're going to pay off. And that's the best way to make this happen is, whether it's a week at a time or a month at a time, pick something to focus on and then just hit it as hard as possible. Get as many people bought in on that idea as possible, do it to the best of our ability. And then whenever it's done, kind of benefit from whatever it was, whether it's an article that's published or it's a guest that we got to come in, and the chancellor spends 4 hours in the facility playing Rocket League and hanging out and on campus. Another small thing that took weeks and months to make happen, and then it finally did, and then incredible photo opportunities and stories to tell. And so a lot of those things, if I could go back and say that it's so much work, but in so many ways it's worth it. That's what I would say. Okay,
so similar question. Coat closet now becomes a kind of like a cloning machine. You can clone a version of yourself, and you can assign that version of yourself any of the tasks that you have now. What tasks are you giving the clone, and what are you keeping for yourself based in your work?
The clone gets access to my Outlook email and my Twitter DMs, and I will keep everything else. I love the social media aspect of this. I do love interacting with the students that reach out. I've students of really all ages that reach out that want to have more information about the university, and I do love answering those questions. But sometimes, depending on the season, it can be extremely overwhelming when you have something big happens in the news. Ninja does a New Year's Eve thing, and then all of a sudden you have parents that are reaching out. How do I get Fortnite scholarships? And they have, they just put two and two together. They saw Ninja and they saw a press release, and those two things are the same thing. And now I have 100 emails to respond to. So that may be some of those communication pieces. I love every aspect. I have the greatest job on campus, without a doubt. I mean, my goodness, like we said, what time is it? It's 4:00. I just played Call of Duty in the afternoon. So there's nothing I would actually give away. I love what I do.
Okay. A version of you shows up from a year in the future. What questions are you asking your future self that are going to guide what you do for the next year? What do you feel like you need to know to be successful moving forward?
Ooh, I would ask how many millions of dollars we have had fundraised over the next year. Uh, no, I would. I mean, when you look at the next 12 months, especially higher education, there are so many unknowns. I mean, there's so many unknowns in the entire world. We've never been in a position like we have been in as a country, as a state, as a school, as a world. So who knows? If I could talk to myself a year from now, I would want to make sure that everybody I know is personally safe and okay, and then from there, just make sure that the University of Missouri is still. I hope it. Again, I hope we have a campus full of students that are safe and able to spend time together in person. That's what I'm hoping for. Collegiate esports is going to look different this year than I thought it would. If you had asked me 4 months ago, I thought collegiate esports was growing exponentially in this next year, 2020, 2021, was going to be huge in the amount of large schools getting on board with programs. But most state public schools are looking at hiring and spending freezes and massive budget cuts across the board. So are these schools going to add varsity esports programs and do those things that I talked about as far as putting in fancy carpet and LED lights in the ceilings? Probably not. So collegiate esports, I still think it will grow. I still think it is the future of collegiate competition. I think it is the future of esports, but it's not going to happen at the pace that we thought it once did. So, the next year is going to be interesting. And that's why I want to focus maybe less on being the absolute greatest in the games that we're playing and sharing more about the individual students that we have within our program and within our campus that are doing amazing things through gaming and streaming and this entire culture that we are a part of.
So I love your answers to these. I thought you were going to be edgier, but whatever.
Trying to
what?
I got to be safe here, Doc.
Right? Yeah. It doesn't have to be from you, but you get a lot of recruiting requests. We got a lot of folks in here who may be interested in, could they either get scholarship money to play for a university? Could they get paid to coach for a university? What don't those folks know about that process? Because they seem to approach us like it's super easy. Hey, I'm really good at this game, or look, I may not have played at a high level in this game, but I know it at a really high level. Let me coach for you. What don't they understand about the process? What little piece are they missing that would help them to kind of make sense of what this world is for coaches and directors?
Sure. I think it goes back to how large this scene is, how many people play these games, and how many people are also in their position. So at that point, you look at, you have to assume that a person like yourself or myself have received hundreds of requests to coach or be a part of our programs. So then at that point, what can you do to set yourself apart? And it goes back to that, like I said, a portfolio that you can link to or point back to say, I am a positive player. Here's a link to a game that I lost. I looked awful in this game as Reinhardt, but I kept the team together and we lost in overtime. But you can hear my voice. You can hear the way that I conducted the team. That means more to me than going 40-0. You can say, here's a link to me. Again, you can, there's nothing stopping you from pulling up last night's Overwatch League match, getting in front of a microphone that's on your phone and casting it and send that to me and say, I want to cast your Overwatch match next weekend. Here's what I did. And that sets yourself apart from the other 100 people who said, I have hours in this game and I'm very motivated. I'm diamond, but if you give me an opportunity, I'm motivated. I'll get to masters. Okay. Show me what you've done and what you can do. And for the most part, everybody that is a part of my program has done that. I mean, they not for the most part, for the part. That's an integral way to get involved, is to show that you have what it takes to be a part of a high-level program that we've put together.
Okay. Very cool. Okay, so I have a couple more questions. Remind me to ask you very specifically about what do we call the dang thing? The Hubble Deep Field. Remind me to ask you about the Hubble Deep Field.
Hubble Deep Field. Okay.
Hubble Deep Field. We'll do it. We'll do it after this game. If you've got questions for Kevin or myself, throw them in the chat here. Okay. So while we're getting ready to load in here, where does your gamer tag come from?
That is a fantastic question. So my gamer tag since 5th grade
There we go.
has been Seslor. Seslor. And the reason why I was playing, it was probably Neopets, and I needed a name. And I was watching X Play on G4 TV, and it was Adam Seslor and Morgan Webb were the hosts. It was my favorite show back in the day. It was probably Tech TV. And I thought,
Yeah, it was Tech TV
Adam
even before it
Sessler.
was G4. Yeah.
Yes, and I thought Adam Seslor was the coolest guy in the world. And
May
I didn't know how
actually
to. I didn't know
true.
how he might actually. It's still to this day be true. Could be.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll just spell Seslor a little different, how I would like it to be spelled, and it has been available in every platform that I've needed it to be available in since. So, yeah, been my gamer tag since 5th grade.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, makes complete sense.
I've not reached out. I should send a message to Adam Seslor and let him know that he's inspired.
He has
inspired my name.
What's he even doing right? He's probably producing. He's probably producing television.
Yeah, I don't know what they're. Yeah, I don't
Warm
know.
up while you can. We deploy soon.
I did follow Hitman Morgan Webb on Twitter, and not. I don't anymore, but I was keeping up with him for a while. Kevin Pereira from
Oh yeah.
G4. It was a big. I don't know. I didn't understand a lot of what they were talking about, but Leo Laporte from. He did the Tech TV.
When your students have kind of come in, have you had to change or encourage the changing of any gamer tags or identities? Because they were.
No, I haven't. I have the most unique name that we have in our program, and I thought about it. The Rocket League player, Chris, is his name, and he goes by Homeless Baby.
Yeah.
And I thought Homeless Baby was probably the most questionable name that we have in our program. But I think it's funnier than anything, and it doesn't. It's not bad in any sense. I told him that he needs to come up with a story behind it and tell people he was a homeless baby and found Rocket League or something. But
Yeah.
that's probably the most questionable name. I don't think we've had anything else. Nothing that we've been that we've made people change. Ethanol's in the chat. Ethanol, is that true? I don't think we've had any other.
Any other change?
Back to
Okay.
stadium.
Yeah, let's go back to that stadium.
Yep.
This one's gonna go well for us.
Somebody said high schools should add more
Battle
programs. I
Royale.
think high schools are quickly
All right,
discovering.
soldier. Mark and
Yeah,
point
they're
there.
about to.
Esports.
They're about
Got
to.
Yeah,
gas
he's
closing
in-
in fast.
there's
Get to the safe
the-
zone.
I don't know how familiar people are with the private high school scene in St. Louis, Missouri. There are a lot of high schools, and the private schools.
Let's just say if I had to answer that question on Jeopardy, I'd do all right. There's one dropping in with us. Private Missouri high school scene.
I don't want to say anything that's not true. I think it's one of the largest in the country, I would imagine, per capita.
One dropping in on the.
I'm going straight to
Left
that
side.
actual orange marker.
Another one dropping right on the entrance, right around the corner from us. See, but this is why I like it, because I can continue to fly all the way around it once I've established where folks are. Sorry,
Eliminate all
continue.
targets into AO.
You taking fire?
Trying to get in a place right. Our partner is here. But one of the largest private schools in St. Louis actually just added a facility and programming around it this past year. Broke his armor. I'm going to save this guy's life.
I'm coming back to cover. You guys taking fire?
Hey, my game's bugging out here.
Are you down?
Some golf was down, but we got him up.
Yeah, it was bugging for
I
me.
am, yeah, I'm lagging a little bit here. We had an impressive streak. There was like 5 games that felt pretty good. That's pretty rare in this game.
Yeah, well, you've had some. I mean, I don't want to call out your neighbors or anything, but you've had some questionable internet caused by proximity to friends.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if that problem's been resolved yet or not either.
That's a heck of an upload. I mean, if we don't, let's just say that that upload speeds can cause some issues.
Yeah, yeah. I'm for the people watching. I'm on texting basis with my ISP service provider tech person, and he told me that someone in my area is uploading and downloading a terabyte of data every 24 hours. So I'm having internet problems. But anyway, back to the high school thing real quick. These schools in St. Louis are
SMG here.
just recently adding programs, and it's not. I think it's a domino effect at that point, because when these schools that recruit no differently than colleges start adding esports programs, the other schools will as well. And public schools are always looking to increase student engagement after school.
Yes.
Nothing does that like esports does.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, we've talked about
Yeah,
doing some camp. We were talking about doing summer camps. We're now talking about doing those online, just as an opportunity to bring people together, because you can. I mean, Discord chat, some broadcasting, and just a general opportunity to bring people together digitally. Is okay. This area's been looted.
Enemy UAV overhead.
These birds in this game look a lot like people pulling parachutes out.
Yeah, they do. I'm sure that's by design. All right. I think we're definitely being spotted by some folks.
36,000 high schools in the United States, and only 3,000 have esports clubs. There's tons of growth coming in the space. Yep.
You're losing ground.
All right.
I think as you see, I mean, I've had conversations with local principals in town, and they said that the students that don't play traditional sports, that go home after school and come back to school and go home, and they don't really have a lot of interaction with other kids, when you provide them a place to play League of Legends, for example, you will see that student light up and engage with other people like they never have in their life. And those stories happen every day.
Yeah,
and that's all it's going to take for the space to grow as it should.
We're in safe zone. Watch for enemy.
So we go to the top here and see what we can get.
I want to pick up this bounty that's in this video.
I may fly across to the top. Let's see what's what. Again, going John McClane on him. No one's been up here.
Bounty target is up. Take him down.
Bat stack.
Bounty started, not too far.
We're not watching a quiet place. It's not like we have to be super quiet.
Just realizing I didn't.
I can't tell if I saw a bird or a person over there.
This way, moving.
Just out of the corner of my eye.
The birds are aggressive this in the server.
Going this way.
That's where they. That's the center of their column right there.
Oh, awesome.
I think they're going to the top of this building. Right here.
This way, moving.
Boy, I'm in the stairwell here.
And the air conditioner on. It's getting a little warm in here. Now I'm ready to go.
All right, good.
Pretty much loaded out here.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Okay. Ooh, I just got some
Enemy
hard lag,
UAV
server
overhead.
lag here. Oh, that's not pleasant. Definitely server. Looking over at the computer, it's got everything else working the way it's supposed to.
And what's annoying too is that it's not across the board either. So it's
Yeah.
playing with friends. It's the odds of one of them having problems is pretty high. It's very annoying.
Contract time expired.
Seriously
Lost the
glitching
target.
out right here.
Drop bag inbound.
We're down to about.
A loadout drop is very close.
Care package marked.
Don't necessarily need it, but people might go to it. I would love to
Gas is inbound. Marking
Yeah.
new safe zone.
ruin their party.
Yeah, ruining their party would be a lot of fun. I agree. We'll just sit on it for a bit. Yeah, so some good questions about Varsity Esports Foundation's working with 14 high schools in the St. Louis Metro. So that's pretty cool.
Haven't seen a lot of action in this game yet.
Mm-mm. Something just dropped in front of us.
Where are you looking?
Oh no, I was just looking through my sight, and it was like, it wasn't a bird, but it could have been a bird dropping. I don't know.
A bird dropping?
Could have been. I don't know.
Oh, there's a guy.
Where? Ping him.
Target right.
Gas is inbound.
Hit him once. I might have been a little aggressive, but why not? He does not show up on the thermal, however.
Get to the safe zone.
We got red closing behind us, actually. We gotta go.
All right.
Oh, I don't have money for plates either. I need to get some.
I can buy some plates.
Decent ways to go.
Here you go. Want some plates?
Yeah.
There you go.
Now I feel better.
Oh, good. Apologies to everybody at home. I am frame rate has dropped dramatically on this machine.
Enemy UAV overhead.
May require a restart when we're done here. But the broadcast machine is still brilliant. Oh, up ahead.
Somebody needs to... Forget what I said.
Let's not shoot quite yet until we get a little closer to end.
Yeah, yeah. I like how you you disparaged anybody who would have the gall to hide in a bathroom.
You guys right here close to, I forgot I turned this footprint thing on. And the little market next door. Got him.
Enemy. Upper.
Team White, we got him.
Nice.
Under fire!
Up on the hill? Oh man. Headshot him down. Coming into you.
Oh no.
See if he'll let me. I got plenty of plays. If I can get in there. I might rush us.
A little more. There you go. We're in too, so we don't need to.
Yep. I would like that
Let's get a better
sniper
shot.
though, if I'm being honest.
I'm back.
Moving out.
He's behind the street.
Gas is down. Marking new safe zone.
They're probably gonna try to rush us. Close this back.
We need a driver.
That's better than these two. Look at the pure gamers
I'm
right here.
shot!
Yeah. Great. I need to move them on. The camera is not normally, when I used to stream, was not normally right in front of my face because I look like I'm a little too focused on this. I'm pushing up a little bit.
Okay.
Off going down.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Taking fire! I'll die.
You're losing ground.
I don't think I can pick you up. I can't hardly see where I'm
I
going.
think I got Gulag still. Yeah.
Correct. Oh my gosh, this is
Get to the safe zone
gonna
now.
vomit here.
Your teammate was sent to the gulag. They'll fight for a chance
I'll
to
be right back.
deploy. Teammate has been cleared for redeployment.
Wow, that was fast. No opponent?
Two shot. Well, I had quite a bit of loot that I just lost, so that's.
I'm sorry, that sucks.
I'm headed back to you.
Okay.
Does it seem safe?
Yeah, at the top of this building should be pretty good if there's nobody up here already. Give us a little bit of time to regroup.
I have my blue marker right there. He doesn't see me yet. I think he's going to come into the building I'm in right now. I'm going to beat him to the roof on this one. Well, okay. Rockets.
Not what it sounds like.
Nobody can. They can't.
What do you got?
It's a big ol' down here.
Oh,
I don't know if you survive a rocket.
Your team is KIA. It's up to you now.
okay. I gotta find
Kind
some.
of.
Gotta find some money and come get you. I got sniped.
I'm back.
Gas is inbound. Marking
That
new
is
safe zone.
weird. Somebody just threw a grenade, but I can't pick them up in heartbeat, so they must have, what, is it dead
Ghost,
silent?
yeah.
Oh, I have
Or,
Ghost.
yeah,
too.
you almost have to in this game.
To the folks who are watching, I would be far more aggressive under different circumstances.
We got gas moving in.
Top 50 situation. This is the game.
Yeah.
Aid station marked.
Yeah, I've got 13K and no plates. And 15 frames right now.
Moving.
Yeah, it's,
And a dream.
and a dream. I've got 15 frames and a dream. What I need is a truck. Big old heavy truck. Do you see anything? You see any vehicles? Something you could ping for me?
I got you. Let me see. That is your closest vehicle. Unless you want to get aggressive and go straight middle of the circle. Pick this guy up. Pick up that bounty. I bet somebody else will take care of it for you.
I think that's a
That'll
good
be your
idea.
money. I hear a shoot right around you. Someone's landed on you. Yeah.
Missed him. But scared him pretty good.
Oh, for sure. I bet he's running away.
Yeah. He's like, boy, that guy found some cash. Whoever just shot at me is a serious guy. Accurate.
Enemy UAV overhead. Bounty target is up. Take him down.
Yeah, I think your bounty's already in a fight. So that's $3 grand right there. I thought I saw some shots over there.
Final deployment is loading up. Finish the fight. Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone.
CP Graham's got all kinds of thoughts. Doc, I don't.
Collins got thoughts?
He does. He says.
Got the drop bag inbound.
He said you're being tactical. You reload too much.
Yeah, 15 frames. It was not happening.
Turn to base.
15th though. That's one of our best.
One of our best so far. 100%.
Kind of. I don't know what that means, but it's not bad.
No, we'll take it. Okay. So
Less than 25.
maybe a couple questions from the people, and we'll wrap this up for the day.
Sounds good.
I would say that this experiment a resounding success.
I would say so too.
Oh, Colin.
As long as the competitive outcome doesn't matter, I would call this a success.
So Brenner
This is
Bear
a blast.
in the chat said I'd love to see a 1v1, and the reason he says that is I have it. He's one of our varsity players here. He's really a Heroes of the Storm guy originally, but he plays just about everything, and he started commentating for us on, of all things, Rainbow Six. We're just kind of asking questions. Who's the expert here? The way we do our broadcasting typically is we have somebody host who can just continue to facilitate the conversation and then what comes next, and then we have an expert in the game who can just continue to provide more information about the game. So it's really a conversation. until we get a real understanding and have lots of people that can contribute to that conversation. That's the flow, right? Expert and facilitator of the broadcast and the conversation. Anyway, so we brought him in to do that. But the reason he says 1v1 is because I occasionally will jump on Overwatch. He also played on our Overwatch squad this year. And I'll sometimes just jump in and invite somebody to basically my own game lobby, and it's a limited 1v1, and I'll just straight challenge people. Just my players usually, just to a 1v1. I lose almost all of them, especially against varsity players. But
the lobbies that we played in during the coaches and directors competition,
right.
Those lobbies were the same lobbies.
Yeah. So there'll be
There'll
be some unique workshop things that people are unaware of before we start, which can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that coaches and directors game was a lot of fun. I'm waiting for the next person to organize the next game. So,
I don't know what game. You started with the only game that I would be able to even remotely look somewhat impressive in. So I think I'm
Overwatch.
out.
Well, I think we'll arrange something else. Maybe we'll do a coaches East-West game or something like that. We'll do something fun like that. The problem is there are so many people that want to be involved. That's when it starts to get complicated.
Sure.
Yep.
Maybe tonight I'll actually I'll crack open Valorant and see if I can't play a couple games and see if it's something. I don't think it's going to be for me, but I'm going to try it. I got to try it.
You got to try it. I think part of what makes Overwatch so appealing and why I push back strongly against anybody who says it's just going to instantly go away because of Valorant is that the team play in it is really sustaining, even if the game itself is not. Now, for people who just competitive queue or just play arcade, I can see the game getting tiring. But any kind of team play where you're building comps that you fulfill a specific role in, that's always fun. The game doesn't have to be super good, even.
Right. That's how I fell in love with Overwatch to begin with. I think the ability to... I don't think there's a game that has the level of communication that Overwatch does between teammates. For some reason, you play a game like Warzone, you could do random squads for an entire day before you got somebody to communicate back to you. But Overwatch seems to be the case for... Overwatch also provides varying degrees of skill levels as far as first-person shooters. You can still be successful in Overwatch. I have way too many hours on Diva, and I don't have to hit headshots on Diva, but I can still be a a mediocre player that's kind of right there in the middle.
Did you know that I'm a baby Diva main?
I think that's the first thing we found out that we have in common is that we both main.
Well,
Diva.
You main Diva. I main baby Diva. Pilot Diva. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Baby Diva is there's an art to it for sure.
She's the new Bastion. I'm just saying.
Yeah. OP.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Overwatch is. I love where the game. I think I'm optimistic on Overwatch. I think Overwatch 2 is going to be successful. I think another thing that people don't realize is how a game like Overwatch comes out on the Nintendo Switch. It is played by millions of kids that don't have Twitter or Reddit and don't go talk about how much they dislike the game. They actually enjoy the game and they play it by themselves on their Switch and with their friends and they have a good time with it. The community is still large, the people that play it and enjoy it. I'm still very pro Overwatch.
I am too. I think it's a great. Again, it's a great storytelling device, and for people who don't think about it this way, they give us a tremendous amount of storytelling tools, right? The fact now that you can broadcast directly from a replay has made it even more attractive. We are more in on Overwatch as a university because we can tell that story even if we don't witness the game, right? So we have a game or even we have a scrimmage or something like that, and because of what right now we're very limited because we don't have a control room staff, and so it limits what Alex and I, the assistant coach for us, can do at the same time. Right, we're really limited to what we can do, and and that allows us still to broadcast as much Overwatch as we ever did because we can grab those VODs. It's very similar to League of Legends. You just have to catch them before the patch, or you lose them. Okay, so you remember the prompt that
I'm supposed to tell you to remind me of. I can't remember. It was something strange that I had. Have you said it before? What was the word?
It's the Hubble Deep Field.
Hubble Deep Field. What is that?
So Hubble Deep Field, and if you guys look it up, the Hubble telescope famously got launched, and there was a error in the mirror, and they couldn't do much with it. Then Space Shuttle fixed it, and then they just started looking at all these celestial objects, and they did that for a while. And then one of the things on their to-do list was to focus on this very specific patch of the sky. Now it represents like less than 1/100th of the viewable sky. It's this tiny little dot, but it's dark, unusually dark. It's the darkest spot in the night sky. And again, it's like a pinhole based on our vision.
Sure.
And so the goal was to focus into that deep field and leave the aperture open as long as they could, so that they could gather any and all light that was coming out of that dark spot. Was it, in fact, a massive void, or was there something there that was just too faint, and it was just blinded by all the other things that we could see? And that included radio, and stuff like that. Well, what they did is they found that not only was there something there, but there were hundreds of thousands of galaxies visible through this tiny little pinhole in the darkest spot in the sky. So it reminds us that, Hubble Deep Field, that when we focus our attention on the darkest spot, or we focus our attention on something where we can put a lot of attention into, we discover a bunch of things. So my question to you is this: for you, in this whole world of collegiate esports, I mean, keep in mind you're one of the old timers now. You've been at this year and a half.
Yeah.
You're one of the old timers. For you, what's the darkest spot in the sky? What's the area that you know the least about, that you want to maybe learn the most about?
I would say production, which it's interesting because I said that's what I want to focus on in the next 12 to 18 months. But I'm not afraid at being open to that challenge. I am Boise State's production's #1 fan. I tout what you are doing to everybody that will listen. I think that the level of content that you put out is second to none, and I want to be at your level.
All
so
guests
I would say
are
that's
required to say that. All guests are required to say that.
That's what you sent me in the email. Now can I answer the question?
Thank you. We'll check that one off. He did that. That piece.
Perfect. No, I would say production, though, for sure, is because so many people ask me, how do we watch what you're doing? And I want to make it as easy and as accessible as possible to watch it. And then not just that we're putting it out there, but that it looks good as well. So I would say that's what I'm going to focus on. And hopefully we'll find so many more avenues and positives that will come to our program through broadcasting, as you've seen.
And there are some great schools doing it. Varsity Esports Foundation points out Coach Alney at Ottawa, absolutely. Sean at St. Clair. Lots of folks are doing really, really cool stuff. UCLA is really kind of ramping it up. Lots of folks are getting very engaged in the process. Art U in San Francisco, has a studio set up, and they're working on it. But you've done a ton of streaming. What do you? I mean, I would think that you're pretty expert at this. What do you feel like you got to figure out?
Maybe it's more of a intimidation factor, because when I stream, I'm in my room down here, and I have a couple lights and the cameras and everything. But when I see what you got with your TVs and multiple people running the show, maybe it seems more intense than it actually is. But I don't know what I need to find out. That's what we're hoping to. We're going to learn what we need to find out and then figure it out over the summer.
Well,
and ideally, when you list those schools, Mizzou's in that list here. Hopefully, in the next year.
It's interesting because I mean the offer I've made the offer to you, but if there are any college folks watching, now Colin, I think I've thrown this out to Colin before too, is that everybody's invited to come and steal all our ideas, please. It's a lot easier when you come to campus and you can like jump in and ask a question of the student. So how do you know when you're going to switch this to this? And when did you learn that? Is that something you're taught or something you figure out? You know, you can only ask those you can only get that deep level of knowledge if you're just kind of there. And again, we share. I mean, I was showing you screenshots of how we're pulling in some of this data for the thing that we're doing here now. I mean, it's not that complicated. I'll tell everybody who's watching, the frame that you're looking in right now, straight stolen from CNN. I won't take time to pull it up right now, but I saw it on CNN. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. I brought it into the title editor and I just copied it, you know. And in fact, we call this the CNN double plus chat. I mean, it's like we don't even hide.
Sure.
Yeah, there's good composers borrow, right? Good artists borrow.
No
great
need to
composers
reinvent the wheel.
steal. Exactly. Sure. Okay, a couple of really good questions here. How does collegiate coordinate events with the high school and local games? How do you guys do it? How do you coordinate stuff with the high school kids?
We actually just opened the door to some of those conversations, and unfortunately everything that just happened over the last few months is going to change some of those plans. But we did, recently we started looking, there's a handful of public high schools in Columbia, Missouri, and there is kind of a group that oversees the high schools in the state of Missouri, and we wanted to work with that group and ideally host some form of tournament that we would have in addition to collegiate tournaments. So what would it look like to have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday esports extravaganza, the high school League of Legends championship, and maybe the collegiate Overwatch and League of Legends regular season matches all happening in one big building? That's my dream. We were close to beginning the process of making it happen. Took a little bit of a turn. I don't know when it will, but I like to think that it still will happen. So that's kind of what I look at, is what would it look like to bring in as many people as possible to an in-person event, championship trophies on the line, college, high school, the best of the best, and then spectators, and just make it a very fun event. Think DreamHack, but smaller, and with the target audience being kind of that age range of 14 to 24. With really focused on high school and collegiate competition.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities to bring folks together. I'll tell you, because I think that here's what's crazy is that in our minds we build up these really, really difficult things. And again, I have literally the greatest assistant I could possibly have in Alex Moore, because he's a guy who can just solve problems without necessarily bringing them to me, and that's a good thing for me, but for everybody else as well. And the idea was thrown out, hey, I wonder if we could put together a standalone. The idea was given to us by UMG, who put together a once a week single elimination Overwatch tournament, right? All invited teams, and just let's do a standalone, right? And it's just a series of standalone events. We're like, oh my gosh, that might be brilliant, right? Because you overcome everything that makes those things really difficult, like, well, who's going to be the referee or the official? What happens if you have to miss a game? Or, all of these things that when you're measured over time matter a whole lot, but when you're measured in a single night, don't really matter. Oh, don't worry about coming in. If you guys are in finals, don't play. Oh, okay.
Right.
We're not going to lose anything? No, because each event is standalone. Anyway, so we did 3 every Tuesday. We did a Rocket League, a conference, our football and athletic conference Rocket League tournament, and you could put in as many teams as you wanted, right? So we set it at 16, and I think we We filled it once. We filled it up to 16 teams once. But it doesn't matter if you have 12 that show up one week or 10 that show up one week. We just put this thing on nights. And he just went into smash.gg and just built it out.
Sure.
It was pretty easy, and it was done. So when people talk about how do colleges, we're already talking about how are we doing this with other games? How can we do this with other games? How can we invite students to come in and just play in a form that isn't like this massive official thing? Because anybody who's ever organized a team for anything knows that all of the energy is on the front end of the first game, and then it falls apart, right? People are busy, people are sick, you're looking for subs, I don't want to do this anymore. It's no fun to have a team. It's really fun to plan what your uniforms are going to look like and all those things, but if you can take those pieces away from schools having to figure out what they're going to do, how are we going to do this for 10 weeks? And go, look, we're just going to do a 3v3 like ARAM kind of thing, right? That's just what we're going to do. And,
right.
You get 3 games a night, or, it's double elimination or however, just like get some games in. Schedule something simple and invite whoever you want, and you can create them all online. So, especially if the game has some has some good details as far as how to organize. So.
Sure.
So I've asked you this question in a bunch of different ways, but I'll just come straight at it. What do you think you've learned the most in your year being a college director that people should know, either about being a college player or a college director?
I think if you want to be a college player, it's important to remember that you are a collegiate esports student athlete.
Yeah.
I do call my students student athletes, but the reason why we say student first is because they are students. Our Overwatch coach Speakeasy famously said, and I love this line, that we can start a bad Overwatch player who has good grades, but we cannot start a good Overwatch player with bad grades. So that means a lot. It's true. If you are the best of the best and your academics aren't there, there's not much we can do. And we want you to focus on your grades. And if those are in line, then you can play and you can then represent your school and show off your skills. So that is what I would say is the biggest factor. Whether you're a high school student looking to get in the scene, or you're a collegiate or a college student now looking to get in the scene, is at the end of the day, what I want is for every student that is ever involved with Mizzou Esports to walk across the stage and receive a diploma and graduate and go into the real world. And whether or not they're doing something with gaming or esports or not, I like to think that Mizzou Esports is a factor of why they were able to receive that diploma. And maybe a lot of success came from the esports program. But the goal is to get that degree. So that's what I would say, is to focus on the academics, the schools, the test, because that is what it all revolves around.
Yeah.
And if that isn't there, then none of the other aspect of this is there.
So I have 4 students who graduate this Saturday. 4 of my varsity esports students, and the only way to get on the Wall of Fame at our university, you have to be a great player. You have to play throughout your career. I mean, there's an opportunity to take time off, but the only way to be on that Hall of Fame is with a degree, right? And to me, that is the big success. There are 5 names on there after 3 years already, but there are 5 names on there. We'll add another 4 next fall. I feel the same way that you do. Next fall, we'll graduate another 2, possibly 3. I think 2 or 3, and that's the greatest feeling. Have you had an experience where you've had you don't need to name names, but had players and something didn't work out for them? Either they lost an interest in the game, the grades weren't where they needed to be, things changed in family, and you've had players essentially leave your program that just kind of sticks in your gut a little bit.
Yeah, what I do, I see potential in everybody that I come in contact with, and people that are part of my program are the people who I see the most potential in, because I spend the most time with them and thinking about their futures and what they can accomplish. So it sticks with me if for whatever reason they're the future that they had initially planned or thought that they could accomplish isn't coming to fruition. And we will obviously, we will see students come and go from our program every year. This is our first year. So I won't have students graduate this first year. We have a young program. Unless something miraculous happens, I don't think I'll have students graduate next year either. Ideally, after that, we start having some of those conversations. But students that need to leave and whether they want to focus on something else or go to a different school or whatever it is, I hope that we can have a program where if they're with Mizzou Esports for 1 year or 4 years, they are able to take something with them that they will keep for the rest of their life, whether that's something that they've learned or the relationships that they've made, and see success forever because of that. That's my goal. And I think I can truly say finals week is next week. We've almost capped off an entire academic year. And I think we can say that we've done that.
Very, very cool. Any other questions from the crew? Just scanning over this. People talking about fighting games.
Captain Starf says graduating sucks. Graduating does. It's college is the greatest time of your life. People will tell you that and you don't believe it, and then it's over, and then you think, wow, that really was.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while you're there.
Boy,
or do what I did and just stay there. Get a job right at the school that you graduated from. And
stick around forever. Exactly.
Yeah.
I just scanned across a question. Yeah, Spartan. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize it. Seriously, no one. My mother doesn't even call me Chris, which is it's just strange. That's how it's changed. But the process of coordinating events like that, honestly, it just begins with a calendar. We figure out when we can do stuff, and then we start scheduling stuff. We try to identify at the front end, if you probably do the same, if there's a tournament or something like that wants to get us involved. What are the dates? Can we make it fit? And how does that look against class schedule and our self-imposed 20-hour participation limit a week? We match football, basketball, all the other NCAAs at our school, not because the NCAA asked us to or the school asked us to, but because we want our kids to belong with those other kids. So we try to make things pretty much, and it's a wonderful piece of advice. So we can be very successful without putting 50 hours into a game. So we just kind of set it up. Oh yeah, I know Austin. Austin's a good guy. Very first year he worked in our program, doing some really cool stuff. I'd say almost graduate assistant like, doing social media stuff for us. Good dude, proper good dude. Okay, well I think this is a good place to wrap up. I mean, you know everything I know. Any questions for me on the way out?
What are you doing? Do you have any plans over the summer? Are you gonna do anything fun other than? I imagine you've been kind of cooped up for the last few weeks. Any vacations? Are you gonna try to sneak out of the house at all? Or
I try to get on my bike a lot. Yeah. Do some hiking now that the trails are open. Yeah, try to do some fun stuff. I have two granddaughters. In October, my daughter will have her third little baby. We don't know if it's a boy or girl yet. So anytime I get to spend with those little cuties, I do. They're like 3 and 1.5, and they run over me. But if I'm not working on some compelling creative project at any moment, I'm kind of worthless. So I got to keep.
I get that. Yeah.
I got to keep doing some stuff. Brenner Bear and I've been promising some. He and I were going to play some Heroes of the Storm. It's only been a couple of days, I'm sure, Brenner, that I've been promising this.
You're putting that off.
Yeah, here we go. Wait for chat to explode. You'll be so offended. But that's definitely going to happen. You can clip this. It's definitely going to happen tomorrow midday.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
It's happening tomorrow.
Brenner got it. That's pretty awesome.
Not just a game. We're gonna play a series of games. So Brenner, mid-afternoon tomorrow, 1 or 2, just ramp some folks up. Captain Star, will it be streamed? You know what? We'll find a way to stream it. We'll do it. We'll do it. Awesome. Kevin, thank you so much for just being a part
Absolutely,
of this
Doc.
experiment. This is so much fun.
Yep, had a blast.
I got to get my mouse situation set up because I'm using the wrong mouse here, mouse that I don't normally play with. So that's got to be why
Yeah, sure,
yeah.
Next time we'll turn the chat off and we'll just focus and show everybody that we know how to play this game and we can win this game.
Exactly.
We're focused on the chat and answering as many questions as possible. So it's not on us.
I love it. And thanks to everybody for tuning in, for hitting that follow. If you are and have not hit the follow, please do. You'll support everything that we do just by saying, hey, I have an interest. So we appreciate you, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, everybody, and I'll end the stream right about now.
Thanks, Doc. Stay safe.